everyone. Welcome to day number 2 of the Western Regionals here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. 2 more games on the slate today. The Saskatoon Blazers kicking it off against the Thunder Bay Kings, and the Winnipeg Wild against the Brandon Wheat Kings. JD, Kings come in today, 5-4 loss against the Winnipeg Wild last night. It was 5-0 at one point. They battled back. Another 10 seconds, they could have went to overtime. And the Blazers also looking to rebound. They fell 4-1 to the Brandon Wheat Kings in a high-flying, tight, contested game. Both goaltenders shine. That game could have gone either way, but it was Brandon coming away with a 4-1 win, keeping their almost perfect record going on the season. But what are you looking for today, and what are you seeing in this first matchup today?
Honestly, the Saskatoon game I think is going to be good. Both teams are coming off a loss. They're going to be a little bit hungry, after those losses yesterday. Saskatoon, that game was really tight. Like you said, it was physical. There was lots of scoring chances. Both goalies played very well in that game. And, that game was close up until, late in that third period where Owen Wallace's point shot, a little floater from the blue line, that was the 3-1 goal, and then they scored another one to make it 4-1 even, after that. So, but Saskatoon, us living in Saskatchewan, we know how good they are. And I'm thinking that their team is going to be firing on all cylinders here tonight in game number 1. And then switching over to Brandon and Winnipeg, a rematch of the league final. I know Winnipeg is going to want to look for some revenge. Brandon obviously swept them in the league final 3-0 and then won game 3 in overtime. I know Winnipeg, being on home ice at the Western Regionals, they're looking to hand Brandon their first loss of this tournament. So at the end of the day, I think we got 2 really good games. Thunder Bay, they got a lot of scoring. Mitch Vanderway, Matthew Lysak, Emerson DiGiacomo. They got a lot of really good players up front that can score. And so, and Thunder Bay, they might be, they got, fewer players than maybe some of those other teams. They're a scrappy bunch, and if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and that's exactly what happened against Winnipeg last night. And they had 5 more seconds, they probably would have won that game. But I think it's going to be a really good day. It's day number 2 here. We've got ourselves settled a little bit. We're going to be calling the games here tonight and tomorrow, and then the championship Sunday. But I think we're in for another really exciting day.
Yeah, the big thing with Thunder Bay is, unlike these Manitoba and Saskatchewan teams, these kids aren't drafted and have rights to any junior teams. So a lot of these, veteran players like Mitch Vanderway and Matthew Lysak, they are playing for these scouts, trying to keep their career going, not only for their team to get onto the Nationals, but also to find a spot on a junior team next year. So there's a lot to play for them. Maybe some would say almost a little more than some of these other players. But, they battled hard into that game. I know the coaching staff would have liked a more complete game. And, maybe we can see that today against Saskatoon Blazers, who are going to be fairly hungry after, dropping one they probably didn't want to lose. And, nothing can say more about how well Grayson Malinowski played. He's been a rock for them. I know we talked about him yesterday. And in our pregame and post-day show, he's a goalie that can steal this whole tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing him tonight against Thunder Bay.
Yeah, and you know what? He played very, very well, and he's just gotten better since he's returned from Seattle, and he's been, one of Saskatoon's best defensive players. Especially in certain situations, your best defenseman has to be your goaltender, and your best penalty killer has to be your goaltender. And there's a lot of points in that game last night where he made some huge saves. And I think for Saskatoon, they're Cohen Harris. He got the lone goal last night. I know he's going to be excited. And then Dane Boyker, a guy that led their team in scoring, and Kane Wilkie, and maybe there were some nerves yesterday in that game, but I expect them to come out stronger and hungrier here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think with the Blazers, I wouldn't say they played a terrible game at all. That game could have been 8-6, could have been 3-0 the other way, could have been 4-2. It could have gone any other way in that game. And they got their feet going, and they got time to bounce back. And I know Thunder Bay's coach here is going to be jumping on here shortly. He's going to hope they don't bounce back, but it's going to be a good game.
Go, buddy.
Everyone, JD Hodden and Jared Down from Double J Sports back with this pre-day show on day 2 at the Western Regionals. And here with the assistant coach of the Thunder Bay Kings, Mike Sargent. Mike, we saw you last year. It's good to have you. It's good to see you again. Let's just talk about that game last night, how you thought your team was able to battle back.
Well, I think the boys showed a lot of character, first and foremost. We fell asleep for a period in the second period there. Started off the game fairly well. We were really getting settled in, and then we, had a bad mistake, which happens in hockey, down 1-0, but went into the intermission feeling pretty good about where we were. Didn't think we were out of it at all, and then start the second, the wheels fell off for a little bit. But to the kids' credit, they fought back, right? Down 5-0, most people ready to leave the building. Our kids weren't. Fought all the way back to 5-4, and then a second lead, or it would have been 5-all. So, that just is a testament to the kids and the effort they put in and the no-quit attitude. And they got to show their talent a little bit more than what went on in the short display in the second period. But that's hockey, and just proud of the way they fought back. Just wish it wasn't necessary, let's say that.
Obviously, the confidence is a lot better going today, the way that game finished. Would have rather had the W, but what's the feeling going into today's game against a highly talented team like the Saskatoon Blazers?
Every year is a little bit different, right? We had the opportunity to go out to Warman last year, played Saskatoon, excellent hockey team, and watched a bit of the game last night against Brandon, 2 talented teams going at it. We play in the Greater Toronto Hockey League, which is next to one of the top midget leagues, if not the top midget league in Canada. So that's a great opportunity for us. So we've experienced playing against really good teams. Results haven't always gone our way, but as the season's progressed, our team has gotten stronger and stronger, and with that, our belief has gone that way as well. So they're talented. We think we're talented. We play well in all facets of the game, and I think they're in for a run. But we have to be disciplined. We have to be strong in net, defensively. Our forwards need to put the puck in the net as well as take care of their defensive responsibilities. But you know what? Every game's a new chapter, and we're ready for this, and we're very confident in our chances for sure.
And you mentioned your forwards, and that a guy like Matthew Lysak getting a hat trick first in game 1 last night. Mitch Vanderway, another offensive producer, he picked up 3 points. But I wanted to talk about Emerson DeGiacomo because,
I'm really glad you brought his name up.
Yeah,
I thought he was fantastic yesterday. Like that first goal, I think it was the first goal. He basically had 3 guys on him. They dragged him to his rear end, and he still made a play for Matthew. Now, to Matthew's credit, he scored the goal. But DeGiacomo was a catalyst for a comeback yesterday, most definitely. I was really proud of his effort. He showed great leadership with his effort and his actions, and the other guys just said, you know what, let's follow that. And as a result, we made a game of it and almost got what we needed.
What do you say to your goaltenders after last night? I know, I'm sure Kale Lake would like to have that game back. It's tough getting pulled. Cameron Mann came in, probably wish he would have had the one, but he rebounded nicely at the end of that game. He made some huge saves in that third period to keep you guys in it. What do you say to both netminders after last night?
Well, we talked about it, and Kale's been great for us all year. As is Cameron, as the season's progressed, they've both gotten better. Kale's unfortunate circumstances, really. The first goal came off an error. The second goal, and we'll agree to disagree. We thought it got kicked in the net, but that's not the way it was seen by the people that matter. So. And then the third one, I'm sure he would have loved to have had back. Now, we appreciate what Kale's brought to this team all year. And it's always a tough decision as a coach to bring a goalie out of the game. But at that point, I think we needed a spark of some kind to get things going. And unfortunately, for Cam, played a great third period, but the first 2 goals, we wish we could have those back too, right? So, I mean, they both had excellent periods this year, and it was one of those games. So every goalie's going to have that. Every defenseman's going to get beat. Every forward's going to miss an open net, right? So these things happen in hockey, and the team collectively bounced back, and it doesn't matter which one of those two's in net. We're confident. So
Yeah, we got to remember these are kids, right?
Absolutely.
They're going to make mistakes, and it's also a big mental factor, right? And hopefully these guys can bounce back, and they got 2 more games to make up for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring.
Yeah, and I mean, in the case of both goalies, I thought they both did some brilliant things in that game too. It was one about changing the momentum, and 2 about being ready when they were called upon to step in partly through a game. Those are lessons that I learned, hopefully. And I'm confident with either one of those 2 kids in there. They're both excellent goaltenders, and we're lucky to have them.
No, I can expect another good game. I imagine part of that game plan is a quicker, maybe better start against Saskatoon. I know you talked about some points, better defensively, good goaltending, scoring from those guys. And but I all in all, I think it's going to be a good game. And you know what, your team put on a great display of how, if you're down, you can always get back up, and they did that, with that potential comeback and scoring 4 goals, and I want to say probably half a period.
Yeah, well, we got the 2 at the end of the second. We scored another one within 4 minutes, and then the last one came, I think, with about a minute and 20 seconds left or something like that. But yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, I thought the game yesterday, a little bit of nervousness. I think just the occasion itself gets to you a little bit, and I think that what happened was they had us hemmed a little bit, but every time we broke out, we created really good opportunities. We were doing a good job on our end as far as not giving them too dangerous. And at the beginning of the game, especially the first half, I thought, we were creating some really good chances. We've got to bury those.
Yeah.
At this level, we're playing teams of this quality. You need to bury those, and then the other team tightens up, and then that's an opportunity that maybe you get to run away with it a little bit. But there's not a lot of margin for error when you're playing kids of this quality, so you got to finish your chances when you have them. For sure.
Yep, no, definitely. Well, I want to thank you for jumping on. Good luck today against the Saskatoon Blazers. Good luck the rest of the tournament, and I'm sure we'll talk more before the end of the tournament.
Sounds good, guys. We're always great to see you. And I'm going to get Tony Lacamé to set you up on his podcast. So get the Martin to St. Louis and okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, buddy.
Cheers.
That was Mike Sargent, assistant coach of the Thunder Bay Kings, jumping on to talk about last night's tough game and what they're looking forward to today against the Saskatoon Blazers. But we've talked lots about that game already. Let's briefly get into the Manitoba League final rematch between the Winnipeg Wild and the Brandon Wheat Kings. And we joked yesterday that Brandon and Saskatoon, it felt like they just played a 7-game series. So I'm really excited to see how this one's going to go. Brandon obviously targeting their back. They swept Winnipeg. And that third game went to overtime. Winnipeg wish probably would have got that extra goal. But what are you excited to see about in this game?
I think it's going to be physical. If you thought that Saskatoon and Brandon was physical, 2 teams that have never met this season, I think I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, those that might not agree with me, I think it's going to be a physical game. There is some there's no love lost between these 2 teams, meeting in the final. Brandon finally overcoming, Winnipeg, as Winnipeg has knocked them out a few times recently in the final or in the playoffs. So for them, this is an important game for them because, not only for, getting something back from Brandon after that league final, but also in this tournament. This is an important game for them in this tournament because if they lose to Brandon tonight, they go down to 0-2. I know that that's going to be in the back of their mind. It's not something that, pardon? Oh, no, 1-1. Sorry. My apologies. And then they, you know, but just for moving forward in this tournament, I think for Winnipeg, this is a big game. And
well, whoever wins this game is in the final, right? So it can't get any bigger than that.
No, and there's going to be a lot of people. This place is going to be full tonight. 8 o'clock puck drop, Central Daylight Time here in Winnipeg, and that this barn is going to be full with people. Brandon fans, Winnipeg fans. It's going to be a good game. I know that it seemed from what we saw in Flow Hockey that their barns were pretty full for that final, and I can imagine just the same, maybe even more here at the Hockey for All Center.
Well, 8 o'clock start. Plenty of time to get home from work. No excuses to get out to the rink for that one. 5 o'clock start a little tougher, but definitely get out here and catch it on Flow Hockey. But yeah, like you said, hard hitting. I know when we talked to Carter Kingerski and Jonah Vanderhorst yesterday, they already know the recipe and what they have to do to get by the Brandon Kings. They've seen them lots all year. They know they're going to be tough on them. They're going to limit their chances. You're going to watch that stretch pass. You know, Brandon likes to spread things out. We saw that lots yesterday. So they know what they have to do. It's just whether or not they can execute and which goaltender is going to prevail. Because in these kind of formats, it's goaltending is a huge factor on who can steal a game, who can make that extra save on a lucky bounce or a turnover. It's going to be huge. But can the Wild finally give the Brandon Wheat Kings that regulation loss? I feel like we're going to be saying that all weekend until it happens or until it doesn't. Very well might not happen, but
it's credible to see a team that, like Brandon, 53-0-1 this season, including their win last night. Like, that is just something remarkable. Something I don't know if I'm ever how many times in a lifetime somebody sees a record like that. And you know what? It's just hats off to them and their organization. They have, they've built something. They're fast, they're skilled, they're physical. They got great goaltending and two really good goaltenders. They're good defensively. They got some depth. They got some veteran guys that want to produce and want to help their team win. And then on the other side, Winnipeg, they're a veteran team too. And I know that their guys are going to be, they had a lot of guys that were in this tournament last year, and they want to make sure that they are, they know what it takes to win at this tournament. And you know what? I think Jacob Armstrong is going to have a really good game here today. I don't think it was the game that he would have liked to open the tournament in front of his home fans against Thunder Bay, but I think he's going to come out and he's going to play very well, and I think we're going to have a really good game once again.
Well, it's tough in last night's game for Jacob Armstrong, right? Like, initially, a lot of those shots are coming from far. They weren't really able to test it properly, and you're up 5-0 too. And I'm sure when it's a goaltender, right? When you're up big, you're not seeing a lot of high danger opportunities. It can be tough to get in that rhythm when those opportunities approach. But I'm sure he's going to bounce back. He's going to rock for them all year, and I'm looking forward to seeing this one. But Brandon, the job's not done yet. They're looking for the first Western Regional Championships in 2004. They also won the national championship that year, but they got 3 teams in their way. And they beat Saskatoon last night. They're not out of the water with them yet. The Wild are in the way. And who knows what Thunder Bay can do here? They can get her done too. So lots of hockey left, and I'm excited to see how day 2 goes here tonight.
It's only day 2, and it's been day 1 was phenomenal. We had 2 really good hockey games, and we're looking forward to another great, energetic day. For those watching, as we mentioned before, Jared and I are going to be on the call. Flow Hockey, we're going to be doing the play-by-play for both games here today, tomorrow, and Championship Sunday. So you can go over to Flow Hockey. If you don't have a subscription, you will have to subscribe to watch all of the remaining action in this Western Regional Tournament. And then, obviously, we got our show here that maybe you don't catch any of the games. You can catch the recap later tonight, or the preview if you're watching here. But I'm very excited. Jared, I know, is excited for this day. Getting to see Brandon and Winnipeg and Saskatoon and Thunder Bay. So another good day.
Well, thanks for tuning in, folks, and we will see you at the end of the day tonight, late night, 11 o'clock, 11:30 before we get the post-day show uploaded. So looking forward to bringing a recap of today's events. But like we said, tune into Flow Sports and you can catch us behind the call.